Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of Lionsgate Podcast with Sahdi and Omni. I'm Omni.
And I'm Sahdi.
And today we're going to be talking all about the chakras and energy work. And we have a special guest on named Connie. Connie, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Now, Connie is going to be on here talking about her spiritual journey. And Sahdi's going to chime in with some of her experience. And I'm going to chime in with some experience of my own. So let's start out with Connie. So she's our first guest that's calling in, actually. Where are you from?
I am from Ada, Oklahoma.
There you go, from Oklahoma. And how did you link up with Sahdi? Because you know Sahdi.
That's actually, like a funny story. So
Let's hear it.
And I have a son who is 17, and he is been diagnosed with several things, from bipolar to schizophrenia to all of the psych stuff all in one. And so I actually stumbled upon y'all's podcast during a Lionsgate portal, all of that stuff. I Googled it and came upon y'all's podcast and like total binged all of them. And then I stumbled upon hearing about Sahdi's hurt side business and all of that and was super intrigued. And at that time, Caden had just been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he was probably 14, 15 at that time.
Oh, wow.
And we were dealing with a lot of aggression, physically, verbally from him. So I was pretty much, we'd had him in several psychiatric facilities at that time. We had tried everything as a parent. It was very stressful. And so I'm like, what's wrong with my child? Is he possessed? Like, I don't know. Like, it was that bad. I was on the verge of, I was ready to travel, see if there was like an exorcism or anything that was needing to be done. It was a very stressful time to be dealing with that as a mom, but then just to see your child struggling with that.
Yeah, my son's 15 now. I could only imagine.
Yeah, and so, there was a lot going on then. And so I had actually reached out, scheduled a consultation with Sahdi, and she actually did like a reading with him, basically, is what it ended up being. And, he's on the autism spectrum as well. And so she had spoke with him and had this beautiful conversation with him, and was just very reassuring that that's not what this is. He's not possessed, that he is actually very in tune with his spirit guides and is able to communicate, but is just not really aware of what's going on. And being able to have that clarity was just, I can't even express like just the reassurance and just the weight that was lifted.
Oh, I'm hearing.
Me too.
It was crazy. And so from that reading, it kind of spilled into mine as well. And then later on, I scheduled another one with Sahdi, and we did like past life regression with me. And, long story short, he's doing way better now. We got him off of several of the medications. He's still on a handful, but we were able to medically, with his doctor, be able to take him off some of them because he was just zonked out and on way too many.
Yeah.
So it was just a beautiful journey to be able to have that as a mom, that it's not a possession.
Yeah, I can see you feeling that way when you try everything. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. I had no idea about that. Sahdi does readings, and she will talk about them objectively, but she never shares personal information about personal people, I had no clue that. I'm like sitting here crying. So did that lead you into wanting to be a healer, or did you already feel called to that?
I've been a healer my whole life.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know that that's what that was. And so my history, I have been a nurse for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I got straight out of high school. I was pregnant at 17, went straight into college, ended up going straight into nursing school. Like, it was just one of those, I didn't really know what I was doing, and just happened that was the path I was on.
Yeah.
And so from there, COVID burned me out. Mm-hmm. I actually got terminated from a job that I had been at for a long time due to travel during COVID.
Wow.
And so that really just like flipped my world upside down and was like, what am I doing with my life? That was really the first spiritual awakening for me, because at that time I was raised Baptist. I was, going to church, doing those things, and it really flipped my life around. And I had that first awakening of, is this it? Like, this is what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. I was in an unhappy marriage. I completely turned it all around. Like, I ended up getting divorced. I ended up changing careers altogether.
Wow.
Which led me into becoming a massage therapist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so it still led me on. I still was helping people. I just had more control over my own energy and my own life.
Oh, I love how you put that. That is so true. I never thought about it like that. As a nurse, you don't really have control.
Yes.
You're like a cog in a machine. And not to talk down on nurses, they're amazing, but I can understand as a healer, because I feel like I'm a healer, that being able to help people one-on-one and not have to follow a certain protocol, right, or answer to doctors and stuff.
So it was super powerful. I actually, before becoming a massage therapist, I went through different nursing careers thinking it was just the area I was in. I was like, well, maybe I'll try an urgent care. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe it's just the area I was at. Mm-hmm. On that journey, I had met my first friend who was an outside of the box thinker. And she gave me my first book on crystals. And that was the first piece of the puzzle.
Love that.
Yeah, so I just geeked out on this book and was learning all things crystals, herbs. Like, I just couldn't get enough of it. And from there, I ended up stumbling upon another podcast. This was before y'all's, actually. It was called It's Fucking Spiritual. And that was like my first, okay, like, there is so much more out there than what I was taught to believe. Mm-hmm. And went to a healing retreat from her and from Rachel. And then it was just like mind blown.
How did that healing retreat go? Just in short.
It was amazing. Like, the empowerment and just connecting with like-minded people and just having that space, that container, that safe container held. I did my first cold plunge and oh my gosh, that was the best experience ever.
I've never done that before, but I want to.
I kind of did this last summer where I jumped under a waterfall when it was freezing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I had talked to a guy a few days before. I said, well, if it's too cold, I'm not going to get in. And then he started talking about cold plunging and how it's good for your health and spiritual. And I was like, you're right, I'm going to do it. And I did. It was hard to breathe coming back up, but I was so happy and proud of myself for doing it.
Yeah, it's like I could see other people having these huge transformations during it, but in mine, my mind was quiet for the first freaking time in my life. And it was just, wow, I have no thoughts right now. Granted, it was hard. They were coaching us through it. And, all these women are just giving you encouragement and just, it was super powerful, but just to have no thoughts.
Yeah.
Like I said, the healing retreat was amazing. And that was kind of what kept me going on the journey. I, at that time, was not even in massage therapy school. Mm-hmm. I was still working as a nurse, just at a different location. And then it was actually with coaching one-on-one that I decided that I was going to go through with it. And so ended up I was doing nursing and massage therapy simultaneously. And I was able to actually leave nursing just this last February and do fully massage therapy in my business.
We have a question for that. You said coaching one-on-one. What do you mean by that?
And so Rachel with It's Fucking Spiritual had like life coaching. She's a manifestation life coach.
Okay.
And yeah, so we did one-to-one coaching. And at that time I was still married, and it really helped guide my way of what I really wanted and actually taking the time to listen to what I really wanted and not just what society says is normal.
Yes, I feel that. I resonate with that. Okay, I was like, wait, what do you mean by coaching?
That was just the next piece that led me on that journey. Decided to go, I went through massage therapy school, and fast forward, opened up my own business, was able to leave nursing full time. And
yes,
I was loving my business. Now I am actually a life coach as well. I got certified just this last month through Quantum Coaching Academy.
Congratulations!
Super excited. And I officially just this last October hit my 1 year as a Reiki practitioner.
Oh, so yes. Yeah. Okay, so did you learn some Reiki when you went to massage school, right?
Well, they did do a little bit, but it was just brief overview. I actually met my Reiki master during the healing retreat.
Okay.
And so that was the next piece there. And so I ended up taking her course, flew to New York, got my attunement, and it was beautiful and just so magical.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, it's just all the little pieces that just fall into place in life when you are in alignment with what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like divinely guided. That's what I was thinking when you said, well, that was the other piece. And I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
We were just talking in the last episode about higher self and spiritual guides. And when I met my primary spirit guide, I had a reading with Sahdi, and she said she's going to like putting all the pieces together. And I was like, it was 2 years worth of pieces put together.
Sometimes it's an entire lifetime.
Yeah, that is how that goes. That's amazing. You go, queen. Dang, look at you. Boss ass bitch. I love that. And then you became Reiki master, you said 1 year ago?
I'm still just at level 2.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I am right at the cusp of ready to go up to the next level. Energetically, I feel like I have expanded enough to reach that next level. And now it's just deciding who's the person you want to be under master-wise.
Yeah.
So I just hit my year mark from becoming a level 2 practitioner.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a journey. It's crazy because it's flown by so fast, but really just in the past 3 months, I've really stepped into that role and have fully felt like I have embodied it.
So a session with you, because you do massage therapy, Reiki, and you're a life coach. So what would a session with you look like?
So it depends. Like, I don't do as many virtual just because, I am just now really kind of launching the life coach and all of that part of it. So I'm just now getting that website part going. Typically, like my clients who come into my office to get a Reiki session with massage or without massage, either way. And typically they're at least an hour long because I do about 45 minutes of the actual Reiki energy work along with the tuning forks. And so I include the sound therapy in with it. Of course, checking your chakra systems before and after the session just to see what was blocked originally. And then what is opened and what's still blocked. Sometimes there's still blockages that remain even after the session just because they need a little extra attention.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then I would say probably 3/4 of the time people will do the add-on one towards Reiki session plus massage because I just feel like it really helps move all that stagnant energy that has been built up and just let it flow through the body and slowly release.
Yeah.
Yep, you really are amazing at the virtual Reiki. I had a session with her.
Oh, yeah.
And it was mind-blowing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, thank you.
Do I swear on that, Sahdi? No.
I mean, I could. There was just like a lot of things that she found within me that I felt were there for a really long time. And especially when it came to my throat chakra. Do you remember that, Connie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, duh. Yeah, you did tell me about this.
I saw an image of a wolf staring directly into my eyes, and it was a message for me. Yeah, she helped to open up some blockages in my throat chakra. And within weeks, my entire life started to change when it came to my friendships and my relationships. And I was able to speak more clearly about my feelings and say it also in a loving way. Because I was kind of either one or the other. I would say things out of anger and hurt people's feelings. Or I would just keep it to myself because I'm like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. So I'm just not going to say it. And so I was able to actually even end a friendship. It was a very toxic friendship that I had for a really long time. And I was able to verbalize the way that I felt and end the relationship. And I don't feel like I hurt her feelings.
Mm-hmm. You did it in a healthy way.
Yeah, I did in a healthy way.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that for her.
Not only that, but there was the third eye opened up visuals for me and messages that I had to go back in and ask, why was this here? So I was getting more messages on top of that.
I think it's really beautiful that a healer, you're very experienced in energy work, that you helped her with reading and whatnot. And then she came back around and helped you.
Right.
Everybody could use healing at any given point. Even a Reiki master can use healing. And so I think it's beautiful that she came back around and really helped you in your life as well. Energy exchange. It is an energy exchange.
Yeah, and that's so beautiful you sharing that, Sahdi, because I think that brings up a really huge point that both of y'all have brought up, that everyone can use energy work. Whether you know it or not, everyone has stagnant energy built up just from life itself, the things we go through, the traumas we've been through. And lack of healthy diet, the lack of movement, all these things build up in our systems and just keep that energy stuck and stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
We're just so conditioned now to disconnect from our body. We don't show emotion. We don't let that stuff out. We keep it bottled in. And so it's such a big thing to remove those blocks in a healthy way instead of turning to substances and everything else to increase the numbing of the body. And you expressing what happened with you, I think is huge, because it's not just like this magical thing happened and, I'm completely healed. You have to be able to be in tune with your body and know how to express it. It's not a magical fix to where like you wake up one day and everything is resolved from a Reiki session.
Right.
I am just channeling this healing energy to you. One, you have to be open to receiving. Intention and perception are the two biggest keys, both from the facilitator and the receiver. Like if I'm not in tune and I'm not intentional with where I'm sending this Reiki, if I'm just spaced out thinking about, whatever I'm going to do after the session, my intentions are there.
Right.
Whereas, the receiver, if you're like, this isn't going to work, I'm not open to this, this is weird, there's going to be a mental block, like that energy is not going to be able to exchange. Mm-hmm. And so that's the biggest key points is intention and being open to receive.
Yeah, because it's all energy. And if they're not open to receiving, they're blocking it. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get that healing.
It's like, I don't believe this is really going to work, but go ahead and try it.
Yeah, it's like, well, then
prove me wrong. It's not really going to work as well.
We did an energy healing and Reiki episode last season, and we did touch base on some of the chakras. So I know a little bit about it. We're learning. How would you describe the role chakras play in your spiritual practice?
I feel like it's all connected, mind, body, spirit. And so with the chakras, there's several things that they do. We perceive so much information subconsciously and consciously. We're just constantly receiving this information, whether we're aware of it or not. With the NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming that I've learned in coaching, you're receiving millions of bits of information constantly per second. Granted, we're only processing consciously 126 bits. So the other bits are being absorbed in through our chakras. They're being processed regardless of if we're aware of it or not. And so all of that is coming through, whether good, bad. I mean, people put labels on good and bad, but really it's high frequency, low frequency. So all these frequencies, all of this energy, because everything has energy, whether it's an inanimate object, everything has energy. Mm-hmm. And so it's constantly being received and processed in your body. And so these chakras are basically filtering it through. Each chakra is in alignment with your main organ systems. So you have your pituitary, your pineal gland, thyroid, thymus, all of these in a straight line. Each of these chakra systems are basically over these main systems here. Mm-hmm. Each of these do different things. Majority of them are through the endocrine system to help keep your body regulated and keep it going at its normal. When your systems are open and they are healthy, when a person is living a healthy lifestyle, they're spiritually connected, they're in alignment with their purpose in life, then the chakra systems are open and they're functioning properly. You're going to have a healthier system. Whereas someone who is out of alignment with their purpose, not living that healthy lifestyle, diet's crap, no exercise, in a job that they hate, just around all of this negativity all the time, these chakras are absorbing that negative energy, that low frequency energy all the time. And they eventually get stagnant and just shut down.
I love the way you explain that.
I was just going to say the same thing. I'm sitting here in awe of you. I love the way you went about that. It kind of went very scientific, and that's chef's kiss.
People want the science of it. They want to know. They don't want just the woo-woo energy. They want to know, what is this doing for my body?
Yeah. And that's why divinely you were a nurse first. I mean, that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that you went about it with the science first and how it lines up with the pineal gland. And we've talked about that in the last episode. So it's really cool how this is lining up too, because you mentioned the pineal gland. We talked about how decalcifying that to open up your third eye, like you have to work on the physical to go into the spiritual as well. You also mentioned the linguistics, and we were talking on tea time where Sahdi was talking about reverse speech. and how our subconscious retains all this information and it tells on itself, because when you reverse the speech, your subconscious says the truth. And so I thought it was really cool that you brought it up within your body's energetic system as well. Very divine how this was all lining up, because we just went through this.
Yeah, it's so crazy because even with that, like, your words are so powerful. Even the words you're speaking can align with your chakra systems. I mean, all of them really, but the throat chakra is the main one with self-expression. But then, you get into your heart chakra with love. How are you talking about yourself? Are you showing yourself self-love? Are you speaking to yourself loving? The solar plexus chakra is more confidence. Are you showing up and speaking confidently, proudly? So each of these, the way you speak to yourself, not only speaks highly of your chakra systems, but it's who you are, your identity. But it's so powerful on energetically feeding that chakra system. You have a blocked chakra system, and just the words you're feeding yourself daily can do so much medicine for that system.
Yes. Yeah. Like words of affirmation, writing it on the mirror. And no wonder you're a life coach. You're inspiring. Your throat chakra is wide open. I feel like I'm always on the go, but you're inspiring me. I'm like, dang.
It's crazy because, like, I just feel like I can't stop. I'm even breath work now. Like, that's like my next, like, I have 2 more months left of breath work certification to start facilitating that. And after that, I'm going to be doing retreats.
Yes.
Yes. And then I'm doing this, like, podcast boot camp in the first of the year because I'm wanting to launch my own podcast.
Yes. I love how you compared the chakras to actual physical organs in our body. But how would you describe each chakra and how they help you spiritually?
I think, like, when you go into the chakra system, when I work with them, I work with the 7 major chakra systems. Mm-hmm. But, when I was preparing for this, I've always heard that there's other chakra systems out there, mm-hmm. but I always just worked with the 7 major. So I wanted to be able to inform you on the others. So I did come up with, there are actual 12 chakra systems that a lot of healers will go through and use. Because granted, 7 are the main ones, and those are the ones that I'll actually go through in depth about, just because those are the ones that I actually work with. Mm-hmm. Just to kind of give you what the 12 are. There is the first one, which is actually underneath the root chakra, is actually called the earth chakra. And this one deals more with, like, the connection to earth itself. Whereas above that would be the root chakra, which is normally where I start with. And so that deals more with stability. And like I said, I'm going to go way more in depth with these. These are just kind of brief little overviews on it. Then above that is the sacral chakra, which deals with more creativity, sexual urges, desires, things like that. Then above that is the solar plexus, which is more the personal power and identity. And then you have the heart chakra, which is the emotional aspects, any of the emotions tied with that you experience, and then love as well. And then there's the throat, which, like we said earlier, deals with that self-expression and just how you're speaking about yourself. And then you have third eye, which is the intuition and just connection with your higher self. And then the crown, which is more divinity and source energy, things like that. And that's kind of what I typically stop. But just to tell you all about the others, there is the 9th one is the soul star, which is in turn to actual higher consciousness is how they define that. The 10th one is universal, and that deals with the universal flow of energy. The 11th is the galactic, which is more of prophecy. And then 12 is divine gateway, which deals with spiritual enlightenment. Mm-hmm. I just want to talk a little bit more about those because I don't feel like I've connected with those yet. I am still just with the major 7, but just to let you know that there are others out there.
Do you feel like people that are just beginning and learning to work with their chakras should stick to the 7 and that the other ones are more for advancement? Because that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like kind of like learn the basics.
Mm-hmm. Go to grade school before you go to middle and high school.
Yeah, because even for me right now, I'm still learning. Like, I am still connecting with my own energy and how to connect with others' energy. Like, it's not just automatically once you're attuned, boom, you have the power to feel energy.
Yeah.
It takes practice, it takes not second guessing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When I went through the attunement process, they were very much against using a pendulum. They wanted you to feel the energy. I didn't connect that way. I tried it a couple times. I wasn't there yet. And there's nothing wrong with knowing your limits. And so to me, I picked up my pendulum and I learned that way how to connect with the energy. And now I am to where I can feel when it unblocks. I can feel the heat from the energy source, from the chakra systems. I can tell with my pendulum. When I can tell when someone has opened up theirs, I actually start like burping, I'm like releasing that energy through myself.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. So, but it's just like different. Like, as soon as it releases heat, it becomes intensified.
I will attest that when I get energy work done, I feel heat. I am somebody that is very empathic and I tap into energies, but when I'm really in tune to somebody, me and Sahdi are energetically linked all the time. And there's been a few times where I'm like, hey, are you having anxiety right now? Because I'm having anxiety. I check with my emotions and I know this isn't from me. She's like, yeah, I'm at the doctor's. How'd you know that? So right before we started recording, I picked up on some heartache and I was like, this is not mine. I've been fine all day. And I messaged Sahdi. I was like, are you having heartache for some reason? What is this?
It was not me this
Yeah.
time.
She said no. And I was like, what? And it ended up being another friend that I talked to spiritually and stuff. But before she came over, I was like, I'm going to do a cleanse. I'm burning stuff. I'm lighting stuff. I used her aura spray to clear my energy field. But then she did some energy healing on me. She's like, sit down. And she put her hands over my heart. We took some breaths and she wasn't even touching me, but you feel the heat of it. And I think that is so cool as somebody that had never had energy work before we did the episode last season, that you're not even touching and you can feel the heat. There's something there.
And you can feel pulling,
yes,
pushing, and you can feel the energy when you're getting work like that done.
And it did help. It felt like a weight was lifted from my chest.
Yeah, and that's so powerful, especially how you're connected with that awareness within yourself. And being an empath is huge because it can be so draining if you don't know how to protect your energy. When you find those people you are connected with, because even for me, I've been an empath my whole life. I thought it was normal. I thought everyone was that way. I sense someone's emotions before I'm like even in the room. Like, I just can feel that. Mm-hmm. But when I started doing Reiki, it was different. It's a different energy that you're sensing. I can still feel someone's anxious. Let's calm them down. Let's do some breaths before we do Reiki. But whereas checking the chakras, it's a heat, as opposed to sometimes I will feel it in my body. I'll feel, like, oh, my throat's tightened, or I have a pain on my right hip or something like that. Like, sometimes I will connect like that with someone, but I feel like I try to put up that bubble when I'm there, so I'm not bringing too much in. It was definitely a different transition of emotions compared to the Reiki energy.
Yeah, I would say worked with not picking up energies from other people. Definitely focused on that over the last few years. But when it comes to people I talk to spiritually and I'm open with spiritually, well, me and Sahdi talked about it. She's like, do you want to cut this cord and not feel? I was like, no, I like being connected to you like that because we're sisters.
Well, it was because I was going through some ups and downs and a lot of chaotic energy for a couple weeks, about a week and a half. And she kept picking up on it. And I was like, okay, let me cut this cord real quick if you really want me to, because
I was at work and all of a sudden I started shaking and I had to stop and be like, did I eat? Did I do? I was like, this isn't my energy. So I messaged Sahdi. I was like, are you having a panic attack right now? And she's like, yes, I'm shaking. How did you know that? And I was like, I can feel it. She's like, oh yeah, sorry. I'm like, don't be sorry.
Because even if you're really connected with someone, sometimes it's good to cut those energetic cords that aren't exactly healthy. It's cool to be connected like that, but at the same time, if it starts to get too much, like, you need to protect your energy.
I just pictured myself being filled up with a white light and I was fine after that.
Yeah, total sense. I mean, especially y'all's bond together. I mean, especially if you're able to bring in that white light and replenish yourself. And really just the fact of knowing that, okay, this is hurt energy. It's not because I didn't eat.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for people that are empathic that do pick up on energies and would want to or need to protect themselves from other people's energy?
Yeah. The biggest thing for me is really like what you mentioned, the imagining a golden light around you to protect your energy. Just whenever you're out somewhere where obviously you can't get Palo Santo and start smudging yourself. But that's what I do at home. I can usually feel it in a headache, especially if I don't feel like I protected my energy as well the morning of. I'll come home and I'm just exhausted or I have a headache, and I didn't do anything to make myself that way. Though I will start off, usually I will take my shoes off and physically go ground outside. That was the biggest thing. Learning energy work at the very beginning was, I need to get this energy out of me. I need to send it back to the earth. And so I would walk around for a little bit. That would help some. Honestly, I'd have to go take a bath with salt, Epsom salt, just to help kind of cleanse and really being intentional and just imagining that energy is gone. Like you have washed it off, but that cord of whatever was draining from you is cut and gone.
I live for Epsom salt baths, so I am a big advocate for that.
Really, those are the biggest things. Like I always start my day, even like as a massage therapist, because I'm in people's energy all the time, whether intentionally or not, but their guard goes down. That state of relaxation where their parasympathetic system is kicked in. A lot of times they're asleep. It happens. And so beginning of my day, like I get there 2 hours before my first one, just so I can mentally and energetically get prepared. And I will light a candle. I will set my intention. It's kind of like before a Reiki session where, like I'm having my spirit team and my guides to protect my energy and allow me to send the energy where it's needed for my clients, because they're coming in, they're hurting. A lot of them are stressed. It may not be a Reiki session, but I am still using my hands to make them feel better, to facilitate that healing that their body naturally does on its own. When it gets into that parasympathetic rest and digest state, that's when your body is healing.
Yeah.
With massage, like that's what it does. Like it allows you to rest and relax to where you can heal. What I do is I make sure I use my Palo Santo and I cleanse my energy and just really ground myself and center every day. And then I end the day that way too, just to make sure I don't take anything home with me. Really, that's like the best advice I get.
Yeah, I was going to say, being in people's energy all day, I could only imagine how strong your shields, so to speak, will have to be, because you're practicing that every single day.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people out there that have heard of chakras, but have no idea what they really truly are. So to focus on the 7 main ones today.
So like I had mentioned earlier, like there's the 7 main ones that I work with. Starting, at the base of the spine, you have your root chakra. When I'm doing mine, there's several affirmations that can go with it. But when I'm doing mine in a Reiki session, my affirmation that I use for that chakra is I am. So with this chakra system, it's like it goes along with like your fight and flight, your basic needs. So you have like your survival mode. You're going into like stability. This is your foundational piece. It's the base. It's at the bottom. So, this is where you're grounded, you're centered, and your connection to earth, bringing in, being able to release the low vibrational energy, bringing in that higher vibrational energy, just having that connection, that balance with Mother Earth is the huge foundational piece there. On here, when it is blocked, you're going to feel feelings of being insecure. You're going to feel fear more. You're going to have that anxiety, just feeling constant restlessness. You're going to be worried more about instability with financial issues, feeling disconnected from the world, from your body. You're going to be more fatigued, lack of energy. Physically, you can start seeing more problems like with your legs, your lower back, your feet, all of that, because it's more associated with the lower half, the root area. The color that is associated with the root chakra is red. Things you can do to help bring up your vibration, like say it's blocked, or say you're just feeling some of these symptoms, some of these issues. And crystals, pretty much any red crystal, but the big ones that come to mind are like red jasper, bloodstone, the black ones like black onyx, black tourmaline, because these are grounding, protective, like these are going to draw out those negative, lower vibrational energies. Music. So with the music, The number that's thrown in hertz-wise on music is 396. With that, you hear more drums. Drums are associated with connecting to the lower parts, to the root chakra. Another way to be able to bring that vibration up to help unblock it is foods. Eating mainly red colored foods is big ones like tomatoes, strawberries, peppers, and then a lot of protein as well is also going to be related to the root chakra. With this, obviously all of these things, intention, like I said earlier, is a big thing. You have to be very intentional when you are using these, setting the intention of this is for my root chakra. Picturing yourself grounded into the earth, you root extending from your base into the earth or getting your nourishment. And these are things that you can visualize while you're eating an apple, eating something you've cooked that has red foods in it. Just intention and visualization are huge. So there's chanting you can do also. We have the affirmations. Like I said, I use the I am when I'm doing my tuning forks during the Reiki. I will use that affirmation as well as a lot of other affirmations associated with that area. LOM is the chant that they use. So like if you're sitting there, if you are a big meditator, you know, you can continuously say this, lum, 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 just keep doing that over and over. And that tone is what is associated with the root chakra to help unblock it, to help keep it balanced.
I didn't know that. I'm learning.
So it's really cool because there's always a magic number, right? So with like the Hindu practice, they say 108 is the number. So you should do it 108 times for that to be able to open up. They say that that number is the wholeness of existence. And so when you're doing these chants, like each time you do it, 108 is the number that's associated.
I use my prayer beads
Yeah, I was just thinking about
to measure how many times I'm saying it, how many times I go around with my prayer beads.
Yeah, and I believe with the mala bead, there should be 108. I believe. Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
It's like there's just so much. All right, so next is the sacral chakra. So with this one, this is more along the lines of, like I said earlier, the sexuality, sexual desires, your creativity. This is all in that area. The color associated with this one, you start getting more into the orange on that. With this one in particular, I actually use the affirmation, I feel. That is when I get to that with the tuning forks, that's what I say in that area. When you have blocks in this, you're going to feel more emotional instability. So you're going to have more mood swings and things like that. You're going to be lack of creativity and lack of passion. So just not able to express yourself, or if you normally are creative, not able to do the creative activities that you normally would. Obviously, with the sexual area in this one, you could have difficulty in relationships and intimacy issues. The medical part of that would be more like sexual dysfunction, low libido, things like that. And you have guilt and shame that comes in there. And then you're going to have more problems with reproductive organs, your bladder, kidneys. So you could have more UTIs, more kidney infections. You could have infertility in this area. I see a lot when I'm dealing with blockages here. It's not only you, like it could be ancestral, it could be generational, passed down, more maternal wounds. So it could be from your mom, it could be from your grandma. You're also going to see anybody who has had any kind of sexual trauma or even any kind of traumatic births. All would be things that are holding on into that sacral chakra there.
Could you pick up energy? You talked about this being tied to sexual energy. If you have sex with a partner and get a kidney infection right away, could that be from picking up on their energy there or no?
I believe it could. I think that so many of our medical problems is associated with the chakra system. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing anyone off of this. But, say you have a UTI, doesn't mean that it's just your sacral chakra blocked. Your heart chakra is probably blocked if you're having issues in that relationship. Like there's so many other things, your solar plexus chakra could be blocked. Why are you staying in a relationship that is toxic?
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many things that could also be going on where all of these diseases, they manifest in the energetic and spiritual.
Yes, we talked about that on the last energy episode, is that they manifest into the physical once they're in the spiritual for so long, or energetically, I mean, for so long that they manifest physically.
Yes. And really, that's your body's way of saying, you're not listening to me. So now you're going to see it. You're going to feel it. And then that's its mechanism of hopefully now you're going to embody that and you're going to connect back to your body. But in turn, we don't. You know, we carry on these diseases and they prolong longer and we just get put on meds. And, you know, I'm not saying that medication is not good, but I'm just saying that
We should be putting in the energetic work first.
yes.
I agree.
I think our system is built way too much on after getting the disease process instead of prevention.
Yes, absolutely.
Really? So, okay, what do you do now that it's blocked, right? So there's several things you can do on this. Going back to the crystals, obviously the color's orange, so you're going to see more orange colored crystals. So you have like the carnelian, you have orange calcite, orange citrine, goldstone, those kind of crystals like that, plus your intention. The hertz level frequency on that is 417. And then on this one, it's more woodwind type instruments. So flute, things like that is what is associated with this area. Food wise is obviously orange as well. So you have your carrots, your oranges, as well as just with this being a more water element area. I didn't mention that earlier, but sacral, which makes sense, you know, because we have like our bladder there. We have, you know, the womb there. When we give birth, it's watery. And so it's with this one to replenish, water is the key. Whether it be in a bath, going to a natural waterfall area, submersing yourself in water is very healing to the sacral area. Not just orange foods, but foods that have watery consistency. So orange is like a double one because it's orange plus it's like super watery. So yeah, so I think that's the chant on that one is VUM. So VUM, VUM, VUM. That's how that one is. And so that just helps really unblock the area, keep it back in that frequency that it needs to be.
Is that THUM?
It's actually VAM.
Okay.
There are more ums. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm taking notes.
And then the first one with the root was LAM, but it's LUM. Okay. Yeah, so moving right on up, we are up to the solar plexus chakra now. And with this one, the affirmation that I put with this one is I do. So this is your chakra where you're actually doing the things. It's your active chakra. It's your confidence, how you see yourself, your self-esteem, your empowerment. So this is the big one there. Whereas when it's not in alignment, you're going to have low self-esteem. You're going to have that lack of confidence. You're going to be feeling powerless and out of control of your life. Medically, you're going to have more digestive issues. You're going to have stomach ulcers, indigestion. You're going to see more obesity, problems with your liver, pancreas, like I said, metabolism that would lead to obesity. But then you're also going to have difficulty making decisions, and you're going to be easier to become angry and aggressive due to like that lack of control and confidence.
I feel called out right now.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of us have issues in this area because I feel like we are taught to don't shine, don't be seen, don't do this, like be quiet. Like, and I feel like it makes us shove all these emotions down to where we do see more of the overeating, the addictions, things like that, because we're suppressing all of those feelings of why is it wrong to be a confident woman?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Why is it wrong to shine and just fill up a whole room?
Oh, I say that all the time. I'm like, if I'm too much, go find less. It took me a while to get to that too, because I used to make myself smaller for a lot of people and tear myself into pieces so they didn't choke. Now I'm like, them motherfuckers could just choke.
I mean, because the right people are going to come to you.
Exactly.
If you have a problem, don't need to be in that moment.
Amen.
So with the crystals that are associated with the solar plexus chakra is more of the yellow crystals. So you're going to have the citrine, you're going to have the tiger's eye, amber, sunstone, and that yellow obsidian. And the hertz is 528 is the music tone associated with this one. On this, the actual musical instrument that they associate with this area is the organ.
Right.
Maybe that's why they have those in churches.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see, food wise, the foods that you're going to eat that go with this one are, of course, the yellow foods. So you have your corn, your yellow pepper, bananas, lemons, pineapples, things like that are what's going to help bring that back into alignment. And then the chanting that goes with that is actually rum. So you're going to be rum.
All my favorite things you just named.
And the rum.
Exactly. It's why I have no problem with this chakra.
Yeah. So that is the solar plexus chakra. And then up next is the heart chakra. So with this one is actually very fascinating because it is actually the bridge. All the lower ones are the chakras that are more associated with the material world. So you're going to have the material possessions, the finances, the self-worth, things like that, sexual desires, things like that. Whereas the upper ones, starting from the heart, it does do the lower as well, but it also bridges to the higher. So all the next three ones are going to be more source, higher self, self-love, like it's going to be the bridge to the higher self. With the heart chakra, this one, the color that associates with that is green. And so the affirmation that I use with this one is love. With this one, the biggest thing is like not only just loving others, but self-love is a huge part of that because we tend to neglect ourselves. We put ourselves on the back burner so much. So self-love, unconditional love for others, being able to give and receive that back, as well as forgiveness is the big one in this one.
Darn, so, I felt like I was doing good until the forgiveness part.
Forgiveness is so important.
It is.
We could do a whole episode just on forgiveness.
You love that when it's out of whack, when there's blocks in this area, you're going to have more difficulty in giving and receiving that love. You're going to be feeling more lonely, more isolated. You can have more bitterness, anger, jealousy. You're going to have more of that lack of empathy and compassion. That medical problems that can start showing up here is more respiratory issues like asthma, things like that. Chronic bronchitis, you're in the hospital a lot for the respiratory issues, as well as circulatory problems. So any kind of heart issues like heart disease, high blood pressure, things like that are cardiovascular are going to show up in this area, as well as like just circulation issues. So this is a big one. Like I said, that love and forgiveness is huge to this area. Crystals, this one's a little different because you have the rose quartz, which of course that's for self-love, love, all of that. It's a pink one. But then you have your green aventurine, you have jade, you have the malachite. Those are all ones that will help in that area. And then the hertz that's associated with that one is the 639. And then the instrument is more the string instruments. So the violin, the cello, things like that are going to be more soothing to that area. And then the foods are all green associated foods, mainly more like green leafy vegetables are big ones there. You have your avocados, your cucumbers, broccoli, things like that are really good for that one. And then when you come into the chanting, this one is yum. So yum, yum, yum.
Because avocados are yummy. I can remember that one.
Next, we got the throat chakra. And we've kind of touched on this one a few times. The biggest thing on that is when I do my affirmation, it is I speak. And so being able to speak your truth, but speak self-love. Say yes, but say no to the things also that aren't in alignment with you.
Do you feel like this one's tied to manifesting the most?
To manifesting, I kind of feel like solar plexus is tied to it the most.
Oh, okay.
Just because that's the do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I feel like with manifestation, that solar plexus is where it starts, and you have to take that action. Whereas, there's a lot of people who believe you don't even speak your manifestation because you don't want people to crap all over it and ruin it with their negative energy. So I feel like this is more contributing to the heart and self-love.
Okay.
But then also, I feel like it also contributes to staying in alignment by saying yes and no to the things. So when this is out of alignment, you're going to have more difficulty in expressing your thoughts and feelings. I'm not going to be able to, you're going to have a fear of speaking. So public speaking, you're going to have that anxiety with it. And medically wise, you're going to see more sore throat. You're going to have, strep throat all the time. Losing your voice is a big one with this. You can have like mouth ulcers, sores, things like that. Thyroid problems is a big one because, their thyroid is in your throat as well. But then you can just feel misunderstood or ignored, like nobody is listening to you even when you are speaking. And then you can have more creative blocks because even if you are expressing what you're doing, it's the way, I guess, you're expressing it. So you can be blocked on being able to manifest those ways. I guess, yeah, in a way, it still could be manifestation, but it's more on the expressive part of it, like affirmations and things like that to help build up on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so those are some of the things you're going to see when it's blocked. And then ways to help when you're starting to feel those to unblock or to at least get back in alignment. You're going to have the more bluish crystals. I don't know if I said that blue was the color associated with this one, but it is. Wearing turquoise. Big one is jewelry on this. Like you can wear turquoise necklaces. Sodalite is a big one. Blue kyanite, Amazonite, and aquamarine are the big stones that are associated with it. But, turquoise is one that you see a lot of people wearing, and it's really big on opening up that throat chakra and being able to express yourself. And the hertz associated with that is 741. And the instrument is more horn instruments. And then the chant with it is hum. So hum.
Like HUM?
It's actually HAM.
HA. God, I suck at spelling these.
They're difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's ham.
Yeah, I would say ham, and that's why I need to work on that chakras.
Oh, man. It's okay. Me too. All right. So the third eye is next. And with this one, I associate it with IC. Some people associate it with light blue. When I'm doing mine, I actually associate it with purple. So it can vary color-wise on...
It's like an indigo or something.
Yeah, I see purple.
For me, what I really resonate with this one is connecting. So, and trusting your intuition. Those are the two. So connecting to your higher self is a big one for me. And then being able to trust yourself, trust your intuition. The things that are coming through is really what you're supposed to do. Like that's your path, not to second guess yourself, go with your gut instincts. So those are the big ones that I associate with that, is being able to clearly see. And then connecting. With this one, when you have the blocks, you're going to have that lack of intuition and inner guidance. You're going to have difficulty concentrating. You're going to have poor memory. You can have nightmares, sleep disturbances, headaches and migraines, vision problems, more straining in the eyes. But they also can associate with hearing problems in this one as well. And then just really feeling disconnected from reality, or on the other flip side of it, being overly logical. So just questioning everything. And then with this one, the foods that are associated with it are like eggplants, cabbage. These are more like purple foods. So cabbage, plums, purple potatoes, blackberries, things like that. And then the crystals, you have your amethyst, lapis lazuli, celicite, angelite, and labradorite are the big ones that go with that. And then the music, you have the hertz is the 852, and piano is the instrument that's really associated with helping to unblock the third eye. And then the chant for this one is
I was like, that's the one that you always hear people chanting, like the monks and stuff. Okay. If your partner's being overly logical and you can just cook them a nice purple dinner, tell them to chill the fuck out.
It's all about intent.
Start singing to 'em. Chill out. That's
intentional, everything's intention. Yes. Oh, man. All right. And then lastly is the crown chakra. So with this one, when I do this one, I associate the affirmation with I know. That's the affirmation that I put with it. And this is another one that you'll start seeing colors mixed. Some people say this one's purple. I associate this one with white. white or clear is what I'll see with this one.
Okay.
And so with this is mainly connection to source.
Oh, that makes so much sense, because when I got my Reiki healing, I saw white. I was seeing a lot of colors, but I saw white, and that's when I saw the eyeball.
Yes.
I said it's my spirit guides. I saw a male spirit guide and a female spirit guide. I saw a female eyeball and then a male eyeball.
Because you're connected to something higher than yourself.
Yeah.
That level of vibration.
That's validating.
Some people don't even develop the crown chakra until they're older.
Yeah.
You know, later on in life.
Well, that makes me feel young. Thank you.
Or right before they die, even. You know what I mean? Like, I've known people who have been shut off with their crown chakra and not attached to anything higher than themselves their entire life. And then they get to the end of their life and they're like, oh, I get it now. And then with the crown chakra, I've been told that when we're born, our crown chakra is still connected to the spirit realm. And then we develop our other chakras as we grow. What do you think about that, Connie?
I've never heard that, but I mean, it makes total sense because the majority of the other chakras are more associated with self-identity.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense too, because when we look at our children and they can remember past lives and they're really connected to the spirit realm, and then over a period of time that gets shut down with the way that they're raised sometimes. No, that's not true. Don't believe that. And no, this is your only life.
They're conditioned. And on top of that, they're being more aware of the physical dimension they're in. Mm-hmm. And that disconnects you as well when you become more enveloped. But when you're a baby or you're little, you don't realize that you're in the third dimension in the physical.
Yeah, you're very connected to your higher chakras.
That makes so much sense.
As I said, with the crown chakra, when you're having blocks in this area, you're going to start feeling more disconnected from spirituality. You're going to have more of that lack of purpose and direction, just not really knowing what your path and what you're supposed to do in this lifetime is. You're going to start feeling more chronic fatigue. You're going to start feeling more depression. You're going to have more nervous system issues and more of the psychological issues start coming up. This is where like nervous system regulation is huge, and you're going to have that difficulty in learning and understanding. Memory is also going to be a big one in this as well. You know, ways that will help with that is focusing on your dreams. Your dreams are speaking a lot in this chakra. And being able to write those down, write down your visions, your intentions, things like that to connect, and really just to have your subconscious connect to it. Being in silence is huge. Meditation, breath work, all of those things like that connect you more to your spirituality and to your higher source. And, you know, of course, it goes back to just being clear, present in the moment, having that intention of what you're sitting down to do is going to be big, as opposed to just sitting down, meditating, but really being distracted and looking on your phone and things like that. And then, of course, being outside in nature and connecting with the energy of oneness is huge on this one as well. Just nature alone is so big to all of the chakra systems. And then with the crystals that go in with this one is you have the clear quartz, you have selenite, amethyst also goes in with this one, you have moonstone, and then fluorite. And then on this one, surprisingly enough, the conch shell is what is the instrument of choice on here.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I could associate with what that really sounds like musically. Like
Horn, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Somebody came and did a healing session for my granddaughter when she was in the hospital, and that's what she used.
Oh.
Yeah.
And on that, it actually is as well, but it's an AUM, so I could be saying it wrong, whereas the other one was OM, so the other one could be Om, and then this one, so.
Okay. It's intention.
Yeah, and they're in that same area where it's the third eye, the crown. They're both so high up in with source and intuition that really just your intention. So with the foods on this one, fasting and detoxing foods are huge on this. So, you know, you have your tea are really big in this area, as well as, you know, just fasting also. And then purified water, and then fresh air, sunlight. Like I said, just going outside and being connected to nature intentionally is huge. Yeah.
Okay.
So if someone wants to book a consultation with you, how do they find you?
Yeah. So like I said, I'm kind of in the process of emerging as the life coach and not just the massage therapy business owner. So I'm kind of like split in between two right now. But of course, you're welcome to follow me on any of my platforms.
We'll put all her information out on to this episode. We'll add her details in the description. So if you want to contact her or whatnot.
I mean, you can follow me. Like I said, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Facebook and TikTok is Beauty by Connie RN. And Instagram is Coach_Connie Walton. And I actually have a link set up to where if you do want to book a distant Reiki session with me, which you'll have the link posted, but it'll be under elementalmassageandbodyworks.com. And I actually am under the provider CC for virtual, just to kind of split them. CC Walton is my practitioner name right now.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I did set up a code. So anyone who does book, you can use the promo code ENERGY1111 and you'll get 11% off.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. We'll make sure to put all her social medias into the description too. So if you're listening to this in your car and you don't have a pen, don't worry. We got you. Just look back on the description. Okay, before we wrap up this episode, we're going to do something we've never done before. And Connie's going to do a mini Reiki virtual session on me, Omni. So what should I do? Direct me.
So what I want you to do is to just lay down, get relaxed.
Okay.
And I'm taking this as that you're giving me permission to get into your energy field.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So like I said, just stay relaxed. I'm actually checking your chakra system now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So like I said, when I do mine, I use a pendulum. So with yours, I'm actually showing that your sacral is blocked and your throat is blocked.
Mm.
So everything else was actually swinging beautifully. What I am seeing out of this, and I just go generalized with this, you can feel free to share if you want. You can just verbalize that, yeah, that makes sense. It's completely up to you.
Okay.
So kind of like what we had explained earlier with each of the chakra systems, with the sacral, that's more of the creativity. The mother wounds will show up here also, as well as any past trauma, any sexual trauma, childbirths that were traumatic is going to linger there.
All of them.
Yeah. Big thing on this is finding that creativity in yourself, being able to let go of any trauma, which is what I'm going to kind of do with the tuning forks and with the Reiki here, is to help release that trauma, that negative energy that's being held on into these areas. Eating those orange foods, being able to submerge in water with the intention of releasing that blocked energy, releasing that trauma, raising that vibration and opening up that chakra system is going to be huge in here. And then just really intentionally allowing that to let go. When it is to deal with mother wounds, if it's strictly associated with you, if it was mother or grandma scars and trauma from past, forgiveness is a big one there. If it is ancestral lineage, things like that, being able to do the work to heal that generational trauma is big in that. So then moving up with the throat, on that one is the self-expression, things like that. Feeling confident, but being able to express that confidence, expressing that self-love, that gratitude in yourself, your spirit, your body, your mind, all of those things. Showing yourself love, saying yes to the things that are in alignment with you, but then also being able to express to people, no, that I don't want to do this. This is not for me. This is draining.
Mm-hmm.
Just filling your cup up, but being able to express it. Positive affirmations are big here.
It's resonating for sure. And I don't know if we talked about it on Tea Time or not, but I had a meditation with my higher self and I was having a vision of talking somebody through being upset. And I was like, you're a warrior and all this, and you have ancestral lineage and that you're rooted into this ground and da-da-da-da-da. And then I heard a voice that said, why don't you talk to yourself like that? And I burst into tears. So self-love is something I've been working on. So that resonated 100%. And with the sacral, there's definitely trauma there that I need to work on for sure. So you hit the nail on the head. And Sadi's done energy work on me, and she wouldn't even touch on the sacral because we were doing a quick.
Yeah, that's right.
We talked about that
because I was just giving her a quick energy session and kind of doing what you just did. And then once I got there, I was like, whoa, I'm letting you know there's some damage there that needs to be deeply worked on, but we can't get through it in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really love that you picked up on that as well.
It's very validating.
It is.
Like I said, the rest are freely open, spinning great. So with this mini session, I feel like I'm just going to focus on those two areas.
Okay.
So you're going to hear some quietness now as I'm the Reiki session, and then I will come in with the tuning forks and the affirmations that are associated in those areas. Okay. So just lay back, relax. Take a few nice deep breaths in. Just imagining that healing Reiki light energy coming in through your crown chakra. Giving it permission to go where it's needed in your body. To send that healing energy through your body. As you have your guides, your ancestors, and any Reiki ascending masters at your bedside, full of love and light, to assist in your healing journey today. Take a nice deep breath in, just imagining that healing energy coming in. And take a nice long exhale out and just release any anxiety, any fear, any doubt, knowing that you're safe and you're held. You're free to feel what you need to feel. And on this exhale, releasing what no longer serves you. I release any blockages in my sacral chakra. I embody the affirmation, I feel. I release any traumas, known and unknown, in my sacral chakra. I allow myself to feel pleasure and desire when needed. I embody my feminine and masculine energy. I honor and express my creativity freely. I allow healing to my ancestral lineage. I love my body, my mind, and my soul. I am perfect, whole, and complete. I release any blockages in my throat chakra. I embody the affirmation, I speak. I give myself permission to speak freely and be heard. I release any self-doubt or low frequency in my throat chakra. I allow love and positivity in my words and in my life. I say no to things that are not in alignment with my purpose. I embody my voice and I allow it to flow freely, the truth and love. I am perfect, whole, and complete. Okay, I'm going to have you start wiggling your fingers and toes and come back into your body. And whenever you're ready, and have you open your eyes. Allow yourself be present and grounded.
I feel like I just took a nap. A great nap.
How are you feeling?
I feel calm. Like peaceful, I guess is the best way to describe it.
So when I rechecked your chakras, your sacral had some movement. It's not fully opened, but it is swinging back and forth now instead of circular.
Okay.
Which shows that there was some movement, that there is getting some energy in that area now.
Yeah.
But not fully unblocked.
Yeah.
Of course, doing the things, taking a bath, getting in that natural water, just submersing and just going in with that self-love and that release is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And then your throat, it didn't do much. I'm sure it's because of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there really wasn't much movement when I rechecked that one, but warm teas are going to be great with that. And then just honestly, like my homework for you would be to look into a mirror and say the affirmations while you're staring at yourself, like really embodying those positive, loving words to yourself to fully accept it.
That's wild because I just started writing affirmations on my mirror.
Yeah.
The mirror that I get ready in.
I just bought some dry erase markers to do the same thing because I thought that was a really good idea.
Yeah. It's all connected.
Just like staring into your eyes and like really making that connection to your soul and to your subconscious of accepting those affirmations that's really who you are.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
That is. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so connected. The entire time you were talking, you can't see us right now, but me and Omni were just like looking at each other like, what the fuck? Like everything you were saying was like really hitting home and connecting either what we've already been talking about or
what we're going to be talking about.
It was just the dots were connecting.
Yeah. Like nail on the head.
With everything.
Everything. Yeah. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and for doing my healing. That was amazing. I can only imagine what a full healing would be like. And for all your information, for telling your story too. Like I knew parts of that story, but I didn't know it was you. So I just really appreciate you being vulnerable and open and informational and just on point with everything. But we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And as always, remember to keep your minds open.
Namaste.